Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking the video out. Today we have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. So do me a favor before we dive into these topics. If you end up enjoying this video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. It helps the videos out more than you know. And if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We're starting here talking about the upcoming Last of Us HBO series as we're finding out how long the first episode is going to be. This is reading from PlayStation Universe. The first episode of HBO's adaptation of Naughty Dog's The Last of Us will run for 85 minutes. This is what has been revealed. Discovered by Discussing Film on Twitter, this puts the first episode of HBO's The Last of Us as one of the largest first episodes for a television show ever. For comparison, the first episode of HBO's own Game of Thrones ran at 61 minutes, while the inaugural episode of its highly successful prequel, House of Dragon, ran for 66 minutes. I figured this was worth sharing because I think it's kind of surprising. We know that this is a big deal for PlayStation, for Naughty Dog, and for HBO, and I think we all kind of understand that there's a lot riding on this, and it does seem like this could be the first video game adaptation that really breaks that curse and really does something significant in the television or movie space. But 85 minutes long for the first episode, that's kind of insane. That's pretty much the length of like a feature film in some cases. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to be optimistic. I want this show to be successful. I want it to be enjoyable. And as somebody who's a big fan of The Last of Us, I'm certainly interested to see how it turns out. So let me know if you're going to be tuning in to The Last of Us HBO. Next up, we have another update on Death Stranding 2 and how Kojima is revealing that Fragile is going to play a much more prominent role in the sequel. Reading from Gaming Bolt, Hideo Kojima, in a new episode of his podcast Brain Structure, spoke about the character Fragile from Death Stranding and the role she plays in the story of the upcoming sequel, Death Stranding 2. While not divulging too many details, Kojima has stated that Fragile will be an important character for the events of Death Stranding 2. Kojima also spoke about the role of Elle Fanning and Shioli Kutsuna in the upcoming game, despite the fact that the two haven't yet shown up in the trailers. Elle and Shioli don't appear in the trailer, but in the near future, I think I can reveal what roles they'll be playing, says Kojima. But with the Who Am I teasers, I've introduced 3 female actors. You know, I can't reveal much right now, but those 3 women will play significant roles. Can't say much right now, but Fragile will be important. As for what roles Elle and Shioli will play, that's something that people should look forward to. They'll be blown away by the crazy things we've done. I can't reveal anything yet, but I will in the future. It's something nobody has ever seen before. So quite a loaded statement there from Hideo Kojima, and I guess really we wouldn't expect it to be any other way, but clearly he is teasing here, making it known that he can't reveal too much yet, but he's hoping to soon. And I will say, watching the Death Stranding 2 trailer, to me it was pretty clear that Fragile's going to have a significant role in Death Stranding 2, probably a more significant role than what we saw in Death Stranding 1. But it's also exciting, I think, to kind of hear him tease out the new characters that we have yet to be introduced to, and going as far to say that it's going to be crazy and it's something that nobody has ever seen before. I mean, you really have to wonder, what is he going to try to pull off here? Very exciting in my opinion. But we are moving on to the next topic, where I want to acknowledge Digital Foundry handing out the Best Graphics of 2022 awards. They do this on a yearly basis, and I just thought it was worth mentioning that they actually awarded Horizon Forbidden West by Guerrilla Games the Best Graphics of 2022, and that's a pretty big deal in my opinion, because Horizon Forbidden West is a cross-gen game, and a lot of people, I think, were expressing concern, you know, including myself, when we learned that Sony was going to be supporting cross-gen maybe longer than we anticipated. How big of a hit are these games going to end up taking knowing this? And when Horizon Forbidden West dropped, I think Guerrilla really proved something, and that is that, look, we know people want PS5 only titles, and, you know, we're still eager to see what else can be done with the PS5 console, but the fact that Guerrilla was putting out a cross-gen game that looked better than 99% of other games, even games that were made just for the PS5 or the current-gen consoles, was incredibly impressive. And to me, Horizon Forbidden West is absolutely deserving of the best graphics of 2022 because I actually do think it was the best looking game of the year. So let me know your thoughts on that. Moving on to the next topic, though, we have a very interesting update on Naughty Dog and their next game in particular. Now, we are coming off of the rumor that apparently Naughty Dog is working on a third installment of The Last of Us, but now we're getting direct information from Neil Druckmann himself as to how they're approaching their next game. And so we have a write-up here from Push Square where the title says Naughty Dog is structuring their next major PS5 project, quote, more like a TV show, end quote. Now, I do want to point out before reading into this that Neil Druckmann did actually comment on this to clarify what he meant when he said this is more like a TV show. But it says here, we know that in addition to a standalone multiplayer game, The Last of Us Factions, developer Naughty Dog has a second project in production. This is rumored to be a third installment in the studio's post-apocalyptic property, although the Santa Monica-based studio is keeping its cards close to its chest. There's one tiny tidbit as part of the conclusion of the sprawling New Yorker interview about HBO's upcoming television adaptation, however. The article ends by reflecting on director Neil Druckmann's approach to making games. It mentions how he surprised teammates by enlisting Oscar award-winning composer Gustavo Santaolalla to score the soundtrack for the first Last of Us game, and then went on to recruit Westworld's Haley Gross to co-write its sequel. Apparently, he's continuing to hire from film and television, with one of the cinematographers from HBO's show being told the door's open should they choose to jump mediums. The feature concludes that his next project is a game that is structured more like a TV show than anything Naughty Dog has made before. It concludes that he isn't writing the script alone or with a single partner, but is instead assembling a writer's room. So it sounds like there will be a lot of writers collaborating on whatever game the developer makes next, which seems like a logical step to us. It should be noted that the article does not appear to be suggesting that Naughty Dog's next game will be episodic. This very much seems to be about the approach that the developers are taking to making it. Clearly, Neil Druckmann has been massively influenced by his work on HBO's television adaptation, and it'd certainly make sense for him to integrate some of the things he's learned from that back to his day job as a game creator. And so continuing with that, Neil Druckmann did take to Twitter and he quote tweeted the Game Awards, kind of putting this information out here saying that, you know, the next project is going to be structured more like a TV show. And he says, I'm sure no one will misconstrue what this means. Spoiler, it's about making our games in an even more collaborative manner. Stoked to show you our projects as soon as we can. So yeah, what Push Square was speculating here, that being that this isn't him hinting at an episodic game, is correct. And I didn't take it that way as well. It wouldn't make any sense, in my opinion, for Naughty Dog to do an episodic type game. That's just not what they do, and I don't think that that would work out well. I'm going to be really interested to see how this more collaborative nature that Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog are bringing to the table with their next big PS5 project is going to, you know, make it stand out or make it seem better or different compared to what they've done previously. I think that there is quite a lot of pressure on Naughty Dog, as there is with most of Sony's top tier AAA studios. They all, you know, put out these masterpiece games and they all are expected to do better and better each time. So yeah, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this all works out. But I want to move on to the final topic here. We have the producer of Final Fantasy XVI seemingly teasing the power of the PS5, while also making it known that the latest Revenge trailer for Final Fantasy XVI was in fact all in real time. Now, this is particularly exciting to me because if there's one thing that I think me, as well as many other people, are looking forward to come the new year, is kind of leaving the PS4 behind, leaving cross-gen behind, and really beginning to get an idea of what AAA development teams can do when they are making games just for the PS5 and the PS5 alone. So looking over on Twitter, we have a translation here from Genki, and they say Yoshi P says that the Final Fantasy XVI Revenge trailer is all real time and that the game will show the power of the PS5. Quote, it's all real-time rendering, the latest trailer, no loading. It's become a game that is like, look at the power of the PS5, end quote. So yeah, you know, we have Final Fantasy 16 as well as Spider-Man 2, both coming out in 2023. And what these two games have in common is they're both big AAA powerhouse titles, and they are both being developed exclusively for the PS5. And you know, this is what I want to hear. I want to hear developers who are working on these PS5 exclusives talk about how they're leveraging the PS5 and what we can expect. Now, obviously, he didn't go into too much detail here. He kept it pretty tame, pretty simple, but I'm definitely going to be interested to, you know, hear more from development teams, again, that are working with the PS5 exclusively, and kind of hearing about some of the things that they're hopefully going to be able to achieve or try to achieve. And so, yeah, I thought that this was just a nice little teaser kind of going into 2023. To me, this generation has gotten off to a bit of a strange start, and I'm sure many other people share that sentiment. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to come next year with a lot of these games and a lot of game announcements that are going to happen as well. That is just finally being able to feel like, okay, now the focus is on the PS5. So yeah, that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share it out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.